Hi, everyone. As already mentioned, my name is Daniil. I'm CTO at Reactive Network. And today I'm here to talk about a little bit about Reactive, what it is as a tech. But because it's not a product pitch, I don't want to bore you to death. And I want to support it with some real-life examples of what kind of things, cool things can be built with Reactive Network. And it includes for the newly developing dApps and smart contracts, but it also can be a very useful thing for already existing smart contracts and dApps that already deployed on chain. And I want to share a little bit more how it can be useful for everyone out there. Where do I click? Yeah, let's skip that altogether. That's me. And yeah, just a little TLDR on Reactive Network to give broad context and overview what's that. So Reactive Network in itself is just a EVM network. So there is nothing interesting about that, right? But there is one very distinguishing feature that makes Reactive Network different from other Solidity frameworks and chains. So Reactive smart contracts, they allow reacting to on-chain events with on-chain actions on the same different network, doesn't matter, and generally how it works. So Reactive smart contracts can actually listen to the events that are happening on other ecosystem and blockchains, for instance, like on HyperEVM, on Sonic, on Ethereum, on Polygon, and other chains, whether they are still relevant or not, execute some arbitrary Solidity logic. So everything is done in Solidity. There are no new tools, no new things that you really have to know. And then it can, as a result of its work, it can either accumulate some state or send a callback to the third-party chain and execute some actions there. And these kind of three pillars of a Reactive smart contract value, and they enable some things. All of these things are kind of one coming out of another. So one of the things is automation. I think it is very straightforward. It is like if this, then that, but fully on-chain. And then we have cross-chain functionality, which kind of supplements the previous one. So it's not just if this, then that. It is if that is happened on Ethereum, go do that on the third chain. And of course, modularity. Overall, you can, in a way, say and compare Reactive to GMPs, so general messaging protocols. But the difference is that you should not necessarily have to implement Reactive into your contracts and deploy a new version of this contract. You can actually plug it into the existing stuff. So let's say if something happened in Uniswap pool, like a sync event or something like that, do something on the third chain, on the same chain, sell my tokens, buy some tokens, and stuff like that. There is a lot about the tech itself and how it works, and if anyone have any questions, we can do that. I mean, just find me here and I can tell you more about the tech itself. Wrong direction, sorry. So just to illustrate that, what was I talking about, here how the overall flow looks in pretty simplified way without the tech details. So imagine that there is a smart contract, in this example, deployed on the Ethereum network, and a user initiates a transaction, and the result of this transaction is an event. Reactive Network, it is subscribed to this event. It basically, in smart contract, is specified, hey, I want to watch this contract for this event. And when this happens, you immediately get a reaction on the Reactive Network. There you can execute whatever logic you need and send a callback. And when you send a callback, inside this callback, basically you just emit an event and the system picks it up. It allows you, unlike other GMPs, basically allows you to specify any kind of callback in the sense that you just specify like chain ID, the contracted destination chain, and then you can send any data and you can call any function. So there is no interface to follow like with the GMPs. You don't have to implement like the handle function or something like that. You just execute whatever you want. And this is the basic flow of Reactive. And all right, I just want to give some real-life examples that we have been developed by us and by others, and basically, actually, all of this available on our GitHub as well. It's just a good examples. For first two, I actually will go into a little bit more details on the further slides, and for about others, I will just talk a little bit right now. So one of the things that I think pretty cool with Reactive, this one-step swaps. Swap in itself doesn't really matter here in this use case, but Reactive actually allows to pull a lot of actions together into one user transaction. So in this particular example, right, user gives an approval on the Ethereum network and doesn't have to do anything else. Reactive picks it up the fact that approval was already given and then swaps tokens for users. And why these kind of things are important is because I've been around crypto for some time, and all we talk about always is adoption. But as time passes, the UI is not getting any easier for user, right? It's still what it was 5 years ago or 7 years ago. It's complicated, unless you just, you know, unless you're just a user of a sex. Yeah. So another example is stop loss order. Also, Reactive Smart Contract can watch sync events of a Uniswap pool when some predefined threshold of price reached. Just sell your tokens, prevent your losses. With the breach, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. For our token, we built the breach on our tech because, well, we had to showcase the tech as well. And also can be done using Reactive and this cross-chain communication and do all the confirmations, make sure that reworks are you kind of out of the rework window and stuff like that, so you can make sure that all conditions are met and breach the tokens. We also have this recent example, I think, maybe developed during one of hackathons, maybe not. So gasless cross-chain swaps. It's once again for users' convenience. You, for example, on Coinbase, want to swap some token, but you need it on another network. You can perform the transaction on the base, and then just get the tokens on the third network, and you don't need to force your user to do all of these things on their own. There's some other examples like cross-chain lending. So you put collateral on one network, you get the loan on another network, you return a loan on another network, you get your collateral back. Cross-chain Oracle, a little shady use case, but it allows you to kind of listen to events of oracles and get this data delivered to the place where you don't have access to this data, but you need this data, so kind of copycating the existing oracles. And then also recent example, liquidation protection. With Reactive Smart Contract, you can put, for instance, your AVE position on watch, and then when price reaches certain threshold, you can add collateral from available funds, reduce your position and stuff like that. I want to just, for better understanding, put some of these use cases, just more illustration to that. So this is an example of swap stop order with reactive smart contracts, so Uniswap. In this particular example, it's a little simplified, but still. So you have a token, you have a user, you have obviously Uniswap pool, and reactive smart contract. And how this works is basically what user does. It gives approval to reactive contract, and then there are obviously some set threshold for the price. And Reactive Network, what it does, it watches these sync events on Uniswap pool, constantly monitoring them until the price hits your needed threshold. So the price goes to X, it emits a callback back to Uniswap pool, and then executes the swap function on this pool, and all is done. You can safely be asleep, and all of this will happen without even you knowing that it happened. It obviously, on some newer exchanges or some other chains, it's already implemented, but in reality, what is really important here is that Reactive allows you to pool and integrate into existing data and existing smart contracts. Because to this day, most of the Uniswap pools, for example, are still V2, V3, especially V2, because it's 10 times easier to configure that. And Reactive just allows you to add additional functionality to your smart contracts without redeploying smart contracts. And most importantly, you can pull into other people's smart contracts without asking them, obviously. Always wrong direction, I'm sorry. So another quick example is the swap. And this is traditional flow of the swap. What you do in this case, you have a user address, you have a pool, you give approval to this pool, then you execute the swap itself, then you get the tokens. We all kind of used to this flow, but for user, it's additional hurdles in a way, because many of them don't understand what they're doing, and we're coming back to question of adoption, right? So what could Reactive allow in this case? It looks a little bit more complicated, but it's only complication for a developer, and who cares about them? We do care, and it's a joke. Don't take it seriously. So we have some parts here, which makes it more complicated, but generally, almost same setup. We have two tokens, token A, token B, so you want to swap A to B, and you don't want to overload your user's brain capacity. So in this scenario, what you can do is have a reactive smart contract doing that for you. So the flow looks like that. So you have your user. This user only gives the approval to the callback smart contract. And the callback smart contract can be any contract. In this example, it's the contract that will do everything, the rest, except the approval for the user. So you give this approval. Reactive instantly knows about that. It puts it on record in its smart contract. And then from there, it does the rest for the user. So it takes takes allowance from the user. It does perform the swap, and then takes the token B and just returns to user. And I think this is not necessarily like super killer use case in a sense, but what I mean is that you can take a lot of things and for the sake of user, just plug them together, make it easier for the user, make your flows better. And apart from that, also, you can do these things not only on one chain, but you can do it across like 10 chains. For example, when something happened on the Polygon, Ethereum, doesn't matter, execute 10 other actions on other chains. I think I'm out of time. I have the last slide. Quickly, let's connect. Find me or my colleagues from Reactive Network. Let's explore some other use cases. We have a Dev Fund program that is ongoing, running program for developers who want to deploy and use smart contracts for their grants and other nice stuff. Support from our DevRel team and stuff like that. And then we have for July mainnet fast track program. There is a QR code for that. There are some prizes for those who want to build on Reactive. Here are socials. Come talk to us. Thank you very much.